Welcome to Front Office, where athlete entrepreneurs take their talents from the field to the boardroom. Presented by UBS, the world's leading global wealth manager. Today, we're in Paramus, New Jersey, where two up-and-coming companies have the opportunity to secure an investment from a couple of the biggest soccer superstars in the game. But to give them some extra help, they're getting mentorship and guidance from someone who knows a thing or two about professional athletes.
I'm Wale Ogunleye, head of sports and entertainment at UBS. After playing 11 years in the NFL, I've seen firsthand how professional athletes can build their wealth and impact lives away from the game. Today, we'll be joined by power couple Krieger and Ashlyn Harris. These two women have been dominant on the pitch and are successful investors off of it. You've seen them perform on the biggest stages of international soccer, but let's see how they handle their business in the front office boardroom.
So I know we've had multiple partnerships over the years that we're super grateful for, but we really study those brands and those organizations that we work with, because it is important to us that we have similar values and beliefs. So what's important for us, do you think, over the years that stands out to you working with those sponsorships?
Yeah, so I think what separates us is we don't like doing things transactional. I think really studying who you're investing in and making sure your values align, making sure they're putting money into the community. I'm going to carry that into thinking about which one we should go with.
Yeah, I'm looking for, their passion. I'm looking for, where they want to take this just beyond like surface level and kind of connect globally. And then, just the strength and the willingness they have to want to be successful.
Absolutely.
That's important to us,
Very
and
key,
I know that we
work hard.
Yeah.
We work hard, and we surround ourselves with very just driven, hungry people.
Yeah.
So I gotta feel that when I'm in the room. I wanna feel that. I mean, they are pitching their life away at this point.
Right. So it has to match that same energy that I feel like we hold.
Yeah. All right, let's go hear the pitches.
I'm ready.
This duo are not only two of the best soccer players in the world, but they are also trailblazers in the boardroom with their quickly growing investment portfolio. And today, they are all business and ready to make the hard decisions.
Allie.
Hi.
Hey, Ashlyn.
Good to see you.
Welcome to UBS. Let's head into the boardroom.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, so what do you got for us today?
Today, we are going to be hearing out two startup companies, Ash Wellness and Lita Health. I think, as you both know, I know y'all well enough to know what y'all stand for and what aligns with your brand. They are both at-home diagnostic testing.
Okay, what? Talk a little bit about Lita Health.
So Lita, obviously...
Is an at-home rape kit, correct?
Correct. Versus the Ash Wellness, which does literally everything from STI to, I guess anything and everything you need except for COVID testing.
Okay, so Spencer, who are each of these for?
So Lita Health is for survivors and students, whereas Ash Wellness is, for basically through businesses. I just felt like these two fit y'all, and hopefully y'all will agree and figure out what y'all believe in the most.
Well, let's
hear them. Let's hear them out.
First, we have a unique company with a mission to revolutionize the telehealth industry.
My name is David Stein. I'm one of the founders and CEO of Ash Wellness. So we provide all the technology, infrastructure, and relationships to power at-home testing. We do over 150 different types of tests, mostly in the sexual health space. Historically, it's been hard for LGBTQ plus people to access healthcare. We have taken those lessons and taken those personal pain points and made the best possible user experience so that people can actually get through the testing process and get the treatment or follow-up care they need. So we're on a mission to make healthcare more accessible and inclusive, period. And so we truly believe by bringing healthcare into the home makes it more accessible and inclusive, and we truly believe diagnostics or self-testing kits is just the beginning.
David and his team over at Ash Wellness have created something truly unique. At the vanguard of telehealth, Ash Wellness started with a mission to help those in the LGBTQ+ community receive sexual wellness testing. The company has since grown to provide all kinds of at-home testing. But is telehealth just a temporary solution, or will it become a permanent fixture in our lives? David will have to convince Allie and Ashlyn that it will be. David.
Hey.
Good to see you, man. How you been?
Good to see you. Great.
Welcome to UBS.
Thank you.
I'm so excited for you today.
Can't wait.
Let's head into the bullpen.
Let's do it.
Come on, after you. Ash Wellness began in 2019 to build healthcare for people from underserved communities. With COVID-19 behind us, explain why your company is both timely and evolving. Virtual healthcare is expanding rapidly, and we're seeing both healthcare providers and patients depend on it more. Explain the importance of your experience with testing and why you say it should be just as easy as ordering through Amazon. You should also share the origins of Ash Wellness and how your company supports the LGBTQ community. Explain how your partnership with Fulton County is a success story. Highlight its integration within the community and how this can be replicated through other parts of the country. Clarify your target audience. Is it patients with barriers to testing, or is it people who want easy access to test from home? Make it clear if Ash Wellness is making testing more efficient or accessible. You need to refine that message.
I'm excited to pitch to the athletes today because they're queer icons. My main goal or strategy once in the boardroom is just to show my passion for this space. I got into this space because I care about my community, the queer community, and making healthcare more inclusive and accessible for them. What an investment would mean for us is more than the money, is the partnership with these athletes who have a huge brand across the US and help us kind of get our company and mission out there.
Welcome.
Thank you.
David.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Yeah, it's so nice to meet you. Thanks for coming today. Don't be nervous. You're gonna be great.
We're so excited to hear more about your company.
Yeah. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, actually.
My name is David Stein. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Ash. So Ash was started about 2.5 years ago. Transparently, I was living in DC out of undergrad and closeted and sleeping with men for the first time, and had a partner reach out to me and say, hey, you might want to go get tested for STIs. And I was just in shock at the time. I didn't know what to do, where to go. Long story short, I got tested and everything was okay, but I took a step back and I was like, I am so privileged. I have health insurance, I have a good paying job, I have the education to even know to go and get tested, and I don't want to ever do that again. And so for someone who has half of the privilege I have, or a quarter even, what's it like for them? And so went to go work at a number of startups in San Francisco and ended up not being able to escape that kind of experience and idea, and came back to grad school with the idea for Ash. So we launched as a direct-to-consumer at-home testing company for sexually transmitted infections, exclusively focused on the queer or LGBTQ+ community. Mm-hmm. And so we decided, let's just test it out. Let's try sell to hospitals, universities, public health departments. And in that first month, we sold 4 paid contracts to a hospital, 2 digital health companies, and 1 direct-to-consumer company getting into the healthcare space. And from there, we pivoted. And in the last 2 years, we've partnered with over 20 different organizations, helped them reach over 500,000 patients, and run over 150 different types of tests. And I think what I'm most proud of is that we still work very closely with the queer or LGBTQ+ community. And so in New York City alone, we've helped over 10,000 people in the last year get on PrEP. PrEP's the once daily pill to prevent HIV. And to be on PrEP, you have to get tested quarterly for STIs and for liver function. And so to do all of that from home just makes it so much easier to stay on it and prevent HIV kind of across the board. And our belief is diagnostics, and us enabling kind of at-home testing programs is just just the beginning, and bringing healthcare into the home makes healthcare more accessible and inclusive. So if you're a shift worker working at Chipotle, let's say, if your doctor says, hey, go to Quest or LabCorp between 9 to 5, you have to take off work to get there. By being able to do it at home, we make healthcare that much more inclusive and accessible. So excited to be here today and pitch to you both, and hope that you can join us in making healthcare more inclusive and accessible. The pitch so far is going pretty well. The energy in there is great. So far, what seemed to elicit a reaction from them was the work that we're doing in the queer LGBTQ plus community.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. And as you know, my wife and I are very into our community, and what you're doing is fantastic. And, we need people like you fighting for our community and our safety. And this is pretty incredible.
I'm interested in the name of your company.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with that?
Absolutely. Well, it wasn't just...
It wasn't because
Oh, was it because of me? Oh, I thought you named it after me.
I mean, I love it.
I mean, I hope that works in our favor.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, we were looking at the other brands out there when we started, and you have Roman and Rory, and you have hims and hers, and it's all gendered. And, we started with LGBTQ roots, and we're like, if you're not a cisgender person who doesn't identify as he or him, we need a name that can be personified and could apply to anyone and mean anything. And so we landed on Ash.
So how do you see Allie and I, how do we play a part besides clearly investing?
Absolutely.
How do you see us fitting into your company?
I mean, well, first and foremost, you're queer icons. I told my team about this opportunity, and they all asked to come. But I think getting the awareness out there, right? So the biggest obstacle to testing, be it for anything, and sexual health especially, is that people are scared of positive results. But what we have to remember is everything is treatable. Most of it is curable. And we need awareness. We need people that are out there and ready to talk about it and share, the different programs that we're working on. And so one that I'd like to highlight specifically is we're working with the Public Health Department of Fulton County, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. And we're doing a free at-home testing program with them. So if you live in any of those zip codes, you can go to the website, stophivatl.com. Order a free testing kit. We ship it to your house. You self-test, send it back. If you get a positive result, the Public Health Department directly connects you to a doctor for treatment or follow-up care. But not enough people know about it, and they don't have the means to, get people to the website and ordering those test kits. So I think just having people that are part of this community talk about it and promote awareness about it would be huge.
After the break, Allie and Ashlyn dig into terms of their potential investment with Ash Wellness.
We need cash to scale our operations and business.
What can we get out of it?
While Allie and Ashlyn are impressed with Ash Wellness's mission, will David be able to sell the benefits of investing in his company?
So David, I know that you spoke about working with organizations and businesses, but individuals, are they able to get this at-home test, or is it just specifically for
So that's what's unique about Ash is we exclusively partner with provider organizations, so other businesses. But I think what has made us so successful is that specifically, because what we realized is, to make real impact in healthcare, you have to work within the existing healthcare system, because only 1% of Americans can afford to pay out of pocket for, your random healthcare thing from a Roman, a Hims or hers or whatever. But the average American gets their healthcare through health insurance from their employer or through Medicaid or Medicare. And so we've wanted to work within those existing systems. And as a result, have to work with provider organizations.
And my last question would be, once they receive their results, what are we doing for the community after we provide them with this test?
So that's the other beauty of our whole, end-to-end experience is that we exclusively work with providers. So we won't work with an organization that doesn't directly link access to care or follow-up treatment, so that if someone is doing an at-home test and they get a positive result for whatever it may be, they have direct access to that follow-up care and treatment that they need. And we know, as me and my founding team who have all experienced pain points in accessing specifically sexual health as queer people, that's so important, because once you get that positive result, if you don't have direct linkage to that care, oftentimes you won't seek it out, and that's a huge problem.
How many tests are available, or is it just one STI test, or are there multiple tests that you provide?
So we run over 150 different types of tests to date. So, majority of the work we do right now is in the sexual health space. All of the STIs, all of the labs necessary to do PrEP. We also do hormone testing related to fertility treatment, to hormone replacement therapy. We do general wellness like lipids, cholesterol, HbA1c, et cetera. So we have actually a wide range of tests we're able to run from home.
The next progression to the company, I think, what is the, like in your head, the next biggest important thing to grow? Obviously, we all have, this is a good cause and stuff, but where do you see it going?
We can be a unicorn venture scale company just in at-home testing for sexual health. That's how big the market is. But we, are expanding, as I said, to over 150 different types of tests in diagnostics generally. We truly believe diagnostics is just the beginning. We're gonna, be layering in devices, so be able to manage blood pressure monitoring from home, other wraparound technology services that enable our providers and physicians across the board to continue to deliver care into the home.
So what do you need from us, David?
So we're looking to bring on new investors in this round. Our minimum check size is $50,000. And what this cash or capital will do for us is allow us to scale. So we went from doing 1,000 kits a month last year in November to over 10,000 a month this February, and on track to do 100,000 a month by August. And so we need cash to scale our operations and business, and partners like you who have access to networks and communities that we want to work with.
So if we were to invest in your company and your vision and be brand ambassadors to help really launch and keep continuing to grow this thing, what can we get out of it?
Having that opportunity would be huge for Ash and invaluable. As far as percentages and kind of what that equity play is, I have to go back to the books and look exactly what that is. And you guys are at the top of our list, for real. So for us, it would be invaluable.
Some of our concerns with Ash and what David was pitching is the lack of numbers. I feel like that was probably the biggest concern for both of us.
And we didn't really know, like, putting our money and investing our money into a company, what we would get actually in return.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you for your time today. You're so wonderful, and thank you for everything you're doing for not just our community, but for everyone.
Likewise, and thank you both so much.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.
David did a good job of telling his story and connecting with Allie and Ashlyn. Ash Wellness has lots to offer, connecting patients and healthcare providers with a more cost-effective solution to different types of testing. But I think David could have provided Allie and Ashlyn with a clear idea of what their return on investment would be.
Next, we have a very impactful company whose goal is to help victims of sexual violence.
Hi, my name is Madison Campbell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Lita Health.
And my name is Liesel Weidel, and I'm the co-founder and CTO of Lita Health.
Lita Health is a company that provides a holistic suite of healthcare services for sexual assault survivors right after they've been sexually assaulted. What inspired me to start my company? I was inspired by the fact that I knew so many individuals that were survivors of sexual assault, myself being one of them. We acknowledge that survivors have oftentimes a hard time even leaving their home after something bad has happened. And what we're doing is having those survivors actually be able to receive resources for the first time in the comfort of their own home.
We see Lita Health in the future at every single college campus across the US, as well as employers, festivals, and basically anywhere where there's a risk of sexual violence.
And we want to be there with survivors every step of the way.
Madison and Liesel of Lita Health have created a company looking to help victims in their time of need by providing discrete evidence kits that survivors can use from their homes. On top of this, Lita Health built a team of trained professionals ready 24/7 to help victims receive on-call support. Madison and Liesel will make their case to Allie and Ashlyn and try to secure an investment that can make a lasting impact in so many lives.
Liesel, Madison, welcome to UBS. We gotta be excited, right?
100%.
Let's head into the bullpen. Your program is centered around communities.
Highlight your work with students, colleges, companies, and online communities, and why instilling your program in a variety of communities makes your company unique. Also touch on an individual's ability to get DNA, STI test, and Plan B delivered in under 2 hours. There are other companies that focus on certain offerings that your company provides. Go in depth on why each of your services are key components in this holistic care. Make sure you highlight your story, your connections in creating Leader Health. Having a firsthand experience gives unique perspective in creating this business model. This is critical when presenting your company. Currently, you only provide early evidence kits to college students in certain states throughout the country. Explain how you plan to expand this reach to take your company to the next level. Highlight that test kits in designated locations are free and the value that it brings to universities and students.
Some of the things that we hope that Ali and Ashlyn take away from our pitch today is just how important this mission is and how important this work that we're doing is.
Our main strategy when we get into the boardroom is just to be our authentic selves. We believe our company is amazing and we're so excited to share it.
Great to meet you both. Thank you for being here. We would love to get to know more about you both first and then about your company.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Madison Campbell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Leader Health.
And my name is Lisa Vaidya, and I'm the CTO and co-founder of Leader Health.
I started this company because I myself am a sexual assault survivor. So whenever I was in college, my junior year, I was sexually assaulted in my dorm room. And that inspired me to want to build this company because after, finally when I was able to talk about it, I realized that basically everyone in my life had experienced something, whether it was harassment, assault, or domestic violence. But the thing that bonded us all together is that no one wanted to talk about it. No one wanted to get resources. And for the first time ever, I knew that I wasn't alone. So thinking back to my story, right, as a survivor in college, there are traditional resources available, but 77 to 90% of those folks are not getting any of those resources, which means that folks aren't getting time-sensitive medical care, no trauma therapy, no emergency contraceptive, and definitely not getting an evidence kit done. What you might not know is an evidence kit, or most commonly known as a rape kit, is done in a hospital, takes anywhere between 4 to 6 hours long. It's this big thing right here. And oftentimes it can be really, really re-traumatizing to a survivor to have to go through so many questions, oftentimes by the police as well. And for a lot of the folks that we work with the LGBTQ, BIPOC community, and even transgender community, of which those communities are not reporting because they're afraid of the questions that they might be asked. And so what we did is we developed an early evidence kit. This had never been done before in America. And what it does is allows a survivor after a sexual assault to collect time-sensitive data. So be able to, in the comfort of your own home, in your own dorm, or even with a friend, to be able to capture that evidence, be able to collect it and even test it in a laboratory so that you own that data. So whenever you want to move forward and you want to say, hey, report, do something about it, you own that. No one else owns that. Your kit won't end up in a backlog. Right now, there's 200,000 kits in the backlog of police evidence shelves. It takes the government an average of 2 years to test a kit, and we can actually expedite testing up to 48 hours.
Wow, that's incredible.
I think it's going pretty okay. I'm a little bit nervous. Are you?
Yeah, this is our first time pitching in front of, someone with a background of sports versus venture capitalists, so.
Yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. In order to finish strong and close out our pitch, we really need to show why we built this company and why it's going to last for years and years to come.
Up next, Ali and Ashlyn probe into the future of Leader Health.
Where do you see the company going?
Leader Health seems to have the attention of the athlete investors. But will they convince Ali and Ashlyn to invest?
Where do you see the company going in the future? And then where do you see us helping you?
Well, I don't have to tell you how bad a lot of sexual assault has been in the athletic world. You know, we have been very lucky to have investors who are in the athletic world who have been victims of sexual assault. And this is something that has plagued the news, has started a lot of the Me Too movement. And we want to see these resources in every locker room. We want to protect athletes against the folks that they most likely trust, which are their coaches, right? That's where we want to see, and that's where we want to work with y'all.
Can you tell me how much the sexual assault kits are?
It costs us $12 to make the kits. We have a manufacturers in Portland, Oregon, and we sell to businesses for $60 a year.
And how about the Plan B?
So these emergency contraceptive is for a clinical pack around $40.
Yeah.
Oftentimes when you go to a CVS or another pharmacy, you'll see that for anywhere between $50 to $60.
So I know obviously individuals can, buy these kits, but you just mentioned businesses as well. You sell to businesses.
So we're a B2B company, and one of the primary reasons for that is that the end user survivors never have to front the cost of our resources. We want organizations such as universities, employers, and even the military and, lots of sports organizations to front the cost of all of our resources so they can provide accessible, time-sensitive resources for their members, and they can continue to protect and care for their communities.
So can you tell me how many of these kits you're actually selling at the moment, let's say monthly?
We currently operate on many different schools right now. And so during the summer, we're not really operational because school is not in session. However, we're very excited. Literally in the next day, we are covering an entire festival. It's hard because of patient privacy and data to know exactly how many kits are being used per month because we want to make sure that we're not collecting that data, right? The biggest problem is in collecting that data, we're then taking that from survivors. And that data is incredibly important to make sure survivors own that.
I'm just interested in the name of the company and where you came up with that.
So Leda is based off of the Greek mythology, Leda and the Swan, where actually Leda in Greek mythology was sexually assaulted by Zeus, who came down in the figure of a swan. And so oftentimes you don't feel like you can talk to anybody about your sexual assault. I certainly couldn't. But maybe you can talk to Leda.
So tell me what you need from us.
Of course.
Where do you see us, besides bringing it into athletics, what do you need from us to help, bring this to the next level?
I think the biggest thing that we need is awareness. The common thing that I get when I talk to primarily young folks, right, are the folks that are using our services the most are anywhere between 18 to 25 years old. Those people have no idea that we exist. And they said, I knew somebody who was sexually assaulted a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago. If only I knew to tell them to use this.
To ask a businessy question,
Of course.
How quickly are y'all growing? Are y'all growing?
Yeah.
I guess what do you have in place right now to continue that growth?
Of course.
For them.
So we've raised approximately $9.2 million to date. We just closed a funding round of $7 million. Our pipeline's around $2.3 million. We have around close to $500,000 in active contracts being signed and hopefully implemented for this fall year. So our goal in terms of revenue targets are around $500K for this year and $1.5 million for next year.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is about making those institutions cover the cost. We have talked to Olympic athletes. They have told us the stories of what happens at Olympic Village. The Olympic National Committee should be providing these resources in Olympic Village, and they should be paying for it as well.
One of the concerns that we had with Leda was that they wanted to reach more athletes and, in the Olympic Village, for example. But we also have, a concern for everyone. But I think when they had mentioned that, we were a little hesitant.
How quickly is the turnaround when an order takes place? How quickly are you getting this to the individual?
We do 2-hour delivery to the sexual assault survivor guarantee.
Really?
Yeah. But also we use specific location delivery boxes, kind of like Amazon Locker, if you're familiar. So folks can get a QR code that then unlocks a locker. So at any point of time, you can go to one of the convenient locations, unlock it, and get the resources.
That's incredible. All right, so the last question is, let's talk numbers. The burning question.
So we have a couple different options here, and all of this would be pending board approval as well. But we can offer a few different things. One, we just did our last round. Unfortunately, that round closed, but we can look at different options for secondary, so actually purchasing shares of older investors or even our shares. The other thing we can do is do something called a SAFE. So that SAFE investment would basically hold your place for our Series A. We expect to raise that Series A in approximately 18 months at hopefully a valuation of $50 million or higher. I think there's also something that I've seen other folks work out, which is basically, a percentage of equity to say, hey, we're going to work very, very closely on, getting XYZ milestones accomplishment. And I think we can definitely work out something if those milestones, are negotiated. We would love a $50,000 investment via a SAFE or via one of our priced rounds.
I do want to quickly backtrack before we finish.
Of course.
I wanted to ask if there are any other competitors who, you're up against.
So you have our competitor right here, which is the government. So truthfully speaking, in terms of offering sexual assault resources, there is no for-profit company that does this. However, we do have nonprofits, right? But we like to work with those nonprofits, right? Let's combine efforts and do something that way. But also the government does a lot of this work, right? Police officers are still doing a lot of this, but what we're basically saying is those folks are never going to go to a police officer, because if someone like me, and I have a lot of privilege, right, as a white woman in America, if even I can't move forward and go and talk to a police officer about what happened to me, what about all the underserved groups that we are encountering every single day?
Okay, thank you so much for coming and talking with us and pitching your company to us. We really appreciate you, we value you, and thank you for sharing your story. So we're gonna go back and discuss, our thoughts and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madison and Liesel's pitch shared experiences of personal trauma and perseverance. They outlined the functional use of their product and their strategy to get it in the hands of victims. But from an investor's perspective, I think they should have come in with a more concise ask of Allie and Ashlyn. By giving them several options, it may lead them wanting to invest their money elsewhere that has more clearly defined terms.
Coming up, the Athlete Investors team huddles up to decide which company to invest in.
What would be our concerns here?
I don't think there's as much growth there.
It's going to be a tough decision.
With both pitches in the books, it's time for Allie and Ashlyn to huddle up and discuss the opportunities. While they're deliberating, Wale debriefs with the nervous entrepreneurs as they await their fate.
As we wait for Ashlyn and Allie's decision, I want to talk to you both about your pitches. So I want to start by giving both of you some pros and cons on your pitches. If ladies don't mind, I'm going to start with Ash. Let's start with the pros. You got a clear audience. From the start of your pitch, you clearly established who your core audience was and who it was going to be as you expand. Good job on that. You also had a clear story when it came to your data. I think you did a great job of highlighting statistics, both on the platform and currently where you're headed down the road. Your goal was clear from the start, to make healthcare more inclusive and accessible. I thought you really handled yourself well with that point. So let's touch on a few things I think you could have improved upon. You didn't establish a vision. While you were able to speak to the core mission of your company, I think you could have stated a cohesive valuation, investment, and return for Ashlyn and Allie. It was clear to me that you identified your core audience. However, you needed to highlight what makes your company different from other healthcare companies who are targeting the LGBTQ+ community. Your personal story is powerful, but I think you could have addressed the overall customer journey from start to finish.
I love David.
Yeah, he's so great.
Thoughtful. I really think he's, making a change and making things really accessible. And I love that about him. What worries me the most is investing in a company and him not knowing what he's willing to give us in return. I think that makes it a little bit challenging and difficult. It would be naive of us just to throw money at someone and not really know.
How many data points?
Yeah. I feel like they're doing wonders. Yeah, and they're really impacting lives in the community.
No, it's super cool. It's just that we need to know probably a lot more. I definitely think it'll grow. There's definitely room for growth, and it sounds like they have an idea. You know.
I do think he answered all the questions really well. I think he has a great personality. I love his story and why he's doing it, because that matters. Clearly, being a part of the community and aligning with our brand is important. And I really think we could be a good brand ambassador for him. 100%. And it doesn't take up any of our categories.
That's true.
I want to dig a little deeper with him, and I'm hoping he can go back and call his partners and figure out how they can make this work.
Yeah.
If we choose them. Yeah.
Leader Health. Here's some of the things I think you did well. You did an amazing job showing why your business is authentic with both a personal experience and global perspective. You made it clear as to what the current problem is and how you're finding unique solutions within the market for a critical issue. For those worried about privacy, you did an excellent job instilling confidence in the consumer that they would have ownership of their data. Now let's talk about a few things I think you can improve on for the next time. You referred to your presence at colleges and festivals, but there wasn't a larger growth strategy in your pitch. I would make sure I include that as you move forward. So far, your growth is impressive. But you could have communicated the company's initial momentum and how investment from superstars like Ashlyn and Ali could continue that growth. While you made it clear that you wanted to leverage talent for awareness, next time explain the different pillars of your marketing strategy and how specifically NIL is a major component in generating awareness. And finally, you established what the investment would be, but I think you could have made it clear to Ashlyn and Ali what their return would be in the long run.
So what do we think?
Yeah, I mean, I really like them. I like what they stand for. I love the story. And then the 2-hour
window.
Yeah.
Huge.
Is incredible.
No, I think that there's a lot of room for growth with what they have going on. I think, I guess for lack of a better term, like the on-demand feel where you can get, I mean, obviously, the testing and stuff, but even the plan B or whatever it is you need.
So do we have any concerns? What would be our concerns here?
Well, I think my only concern through the pitch was that they are focused on, the athlete part of it. I don't know if that really resonated well with me because I think we're doing this for everyone, not just like us. I definitely think if that's going to be the focus, that I don't think there's as much growth there, in my opinion.
That's a great point that you brought up.
We have a tough decision to make. I think both align with our brand. Both clearly have struck a chord with who we are and what we've experienced with our own personal lives. So it's going to be a tough decision, but we can only pick one. So,
yeah.
But overall, I think, hold on. I think it's a moment of truth, and it is. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Good luck. Let's go inside the boardroom. Ali, Ashlyn, you've heard from Lita and Ash, and you've deliberated. Now's the time for a decision. What will it be?
It's been a tough one for both of us. And we appreciate, once again, both of you for being here. We did want to discuss one more thing with David. So I wanted to ask if it would be okay if Lita stepped out for a second and we could kind of discuss something with David quickly.
Absolutely.
Before we continue.
Ladies?
Thank you.
Up next, Ali and Ashlyn go into negotiations with Ash Wellness.
For a $250,000 investment, you get 1%.
Oh, this is tough.
And then Leader Health returns to learn their fate.
David, we loved your pitch. We loved what you had to say. We just had a few issues that we wanted to work through in terms of we didn't get enough information from you in terms of numbers. And giving you our name and likeness is a big deal because it's a lot of work and investment on our side, time. How are we gonna get what we need out of this as well? So it feels like it's a mutual relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I've been able to do a couple of things in the interim. First and foremost, go back and talk to my co-founders. And so for a $250,000 investment, you get 1% of our company. And there's a couple of things to remember with that. First and foremost, we just closed our oversubscribed round, so we're actually not accepting any new investments except from you two.
I appreciate that. The numbers, Bill, yeah, I still don't know enough. So 250, I just don't know how much you guys are generating.
Sure. Yeah, so high-level stats for you both. We'll do about $5 million in revenue this calendar year. The fact is, the diagnostic space is huge. And it's great that we're working in the communities we care about most, but everyone needs diagnostics. And so the market potential here is huge. At a $25 million valuation, that's a deal. And honestly, we're not taking on any additional investments right now because in about a year from now, we'll go out and raise again, and we hope to be at least double that, so at a $50 to $60 million valuation. So getting in now, honestly, is the way to go.
I think the way we have to look at it, though, is each one of them and individually what they bring, in terms of awareness, because obviously awareness was a big thing for you, right? I know how much influence they have, especially in the community. So I think, the way I would look at it or tell them is, you're offering 1% for 250. If you looked at them each, so you're basically giving them 0.5%, right? For 125. I think their brand and all that is probably worth more than that, just the awareness they bring.
Yeah, and I want to be a part of something I believe in, and I believe in you, David.
We really do.
Yeah, and I don't think $250,000 right now is something that we are wanting to do or able to do. $50,000 is what,
we're willing to invest.
What we're willing to invest.
So, be it 50,000 or 250,000, the valuation's, at 25 million right now. So the conversion to 50,000 would be about 0.2% of the company. I don't say this lightly, this is the deal of the century, and it's only available for you two, truly.
I think you want to give them 1% each, and then they'll give you 25 each, and then you give them 1% each. I think that's something that we could look at.
Yeah, and I think if we're on your team, I think when we talk about marketing and advertising and all the things that we potentially could be used for, we'll make that up in the long run in no time. I know, David, it's tough. It's tough in here. It's heating up.
Yeah. I respectfully can't do 1% each at $25,000 each, but I can consider a discount on the valuation. And so we could probably go to about $22 million valuation at $50,000. It would probably be around 0.25% all in for $50,000. I truly value who you both are, what you are able to bring to the table, and I guess that's my final offer.
Great. Oh, this is tough.
I think you need more.
I do too. I do too.
I'm sorry, that's the best I can do right now.
Yeah,
I have commitments to other investors and stuff.
And hopefully, maybe when it makes sense at the right time, we can
maybe later on down the road
talk more and connect again and see what we can possibly do to maybe be brand ambassadors or whatever the case looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
David,
much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
We're a little upset, but we're going to continue on our mission. Hopefully next time they see the vision the way we see it.
Ladies, Lita.
We are really interested. Clearly, we spoke about this. We just want to narrow down some of the numbers and the options that we spoke about. If you could just refresh us with what you were looking to offer us in return for our investment and name and likeness.
Of course. We're thinking around a $50K cash investment into our round, either in a safe or as secondary, pending board approval. We can make the numbers work. And we also think there might be a way for us to add on some additional equity as a partnership, really helping us expand our offerings to the athletic world.
And I think that's exactly what we've discussed in terms of equity and really being a part of this with you guys. We're not your typical investors because of the following we do have and the brand that we have. So I think equity would make sense. So we could invest in you guys as much as you invest in us.
You know, we want to invest the $50K, but I think we would need a little bit more, negotiate something else in return.
I'm really open to figuring out what that looks like and what our relationship can look like as well. We're so excited to accept a $50,000 investment for our safe round.
Does this mean we have a deal?
We have a deal.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you guys did a great job.
Thank you.
We're so excited.
Oh, we get hugs.
Yes.
Hugs.
We're getting in there. Yeah. So excited.
Yeah, we're looking
Hugs all around.
So how are we feeling about this new partnership, ladies?
Amazing. Yeah, we're so excited for Lita to have a new voice.
We can't wait.
to it.
Yeah.
We're really excited.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration.
With this investment, Allie and Ashlyn not only become advocates for victims of sexual violence, but they also strengthen and further diversify their investment portfolio. We'll see you next time on Front Office, presented by UBS on Players TV.